What's going on, everyone? J-Law here from Vendetta Sports Media, finally back with another episode in our Warhammer Deep Dive series. As always, if you guys are enjoying the videos, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. You know the same YouTuber spiel that every other YouTuber does, so it's nothing new. Now, today's video is going to be a little different. The last couple videos that I've done have been more unit-specific spotlights. This one's going to be more of a bit of like a versus. So there's a couple of different two units. Obviously, we see here Sword Bretheren and Bladeguard vets. Both kind of have a similar functionality on the tabletop, but we're just going to kind of take a deep dive, look at the pros and cons of both, and see which ones, you know, if we're making an army list, which ones we would prefer to take on the tabletop, which ones are the economical choice, which ones are, you know, the ones that are going to, you know, do the best or perform the best on the tabletop, which ones get better buffs, which one gets to take benefits of the different detachment rules and everything. So let's get into this deep dive. All right, so I have up here the stats for both the Sword Bretheren and the Bladeguard vets. We'll kind of take a look at them. We'll start with the Sword Bros first. So points cost, you're looking at 105, 130, and 260. This is for a squad of 4, which is very interesting that you could break it down to 4, bump it up to 5, it's 130, and then a squad of 10 Sword Bros is 260. They can be equipped with either Lightning Claws, which is a pretty cool option, Thunderhammer, and then Mastercrafted Power Weapon, and then the Sergeant, or equivalent, I guess. I can't remember if they're called a Sergeant for Sword Brethrens. Anyway, they can get, you know, a couple different pistol options here. Movement, when you look at, like, you know, when you're looking back and forth, it's literally all the same. Movement 6 inches, toughness 4, 3 up saves, 3 wounds, leadership 6, and then an objective score of 1. So this is pretty fairly even across the board. And before we get any deeper into like this, you know, comparing and contrasting between the two units, I'm going to assume that for the Sword Bretheren, they are going to be using the Mastercrafted Power Weapons. Now, those are the only type of melee weapons that the Bladeguard vets can have, but it's also just a lot better for the Sword Bros to take those instead of the Lightning Claws or even the Thunderhammer. Most people are running all 5 of them with Mastercrafted Power Weapons. That's what I do with all of mine, and so that's just kind of what I'm going to be assuming here. And so which is why I have right here a comparing of the two Mastercrafted Power Weapon kind of stats here. So, and this is a bit of a difference between the two. So with the Sword Bros, you're getting 3 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 5, AP minus 2 damage. Now the AP and damage output is still the same for the Mastercrafted Power Weapons. On the Bladeguard vets, one thing I didn't put on also in here, I just now realized, I believe they both have lethal hits, so that's another thing. But for the Bladeguard vets, it's 4 attacks, so they get 1 more attack. But then they're also hitting on 3s instead of 2s. So you get 1 more attack, but now you have a slightly less percentage of a chance for those hits to land. But at the same time, and we'll kind of look as we're looking through this, there are some shenanigans that Black Templars can pull to where you can bring that down or increase your chances. Comparing abilities, the main ability for Sword Bros is they can make a normal move if an enemy falls back, kind of whatever, it's fairly niche. Compare that to the Bladeguard vets, they can reroll a hit or a saving throw of 1, depending on which one you declare at the beginning of the fight phase, I believe. That is kind of a big deal, as is the 4-up invul saves. So that helps make Bladeguard vets that much better of a tankish unit. Now, as far as leaders go between the two, it's exactly the same list. The Sword Bros, though, they do get the Black Templar unique characters. So that's High Marshal Helbrecht, that's Chaplain Grimaldus, Marshals, Castellans, Execrators, all of those guys that are specific Black Templar units. Sword Bros can be led by them. The same cannot be said, though, for Bladeguards with the Black Templar characters, which kind of sucks a little bit. Like, I do kind of get it and understand why. Because if Bladeguard vets, let's say, could be led by an execrator, then Bladeguard vets have advance and charge the whole time. Or if Bladeguard vets can get the same Marshall and Castellan stack that every other, like the sword, like what the Sword Bros can, then you're looking at 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, yes, but then lethals on 5s and potentially re-rolling either a wound roll of 1, all wound rolls of 1, I cannot speak tonight, or just all wound rolls in general, which is an incredible thing to do, especially if you are taking the accept any challenge no matter the odds vow, and you're hitting up into things that are just huge, that have high toughness, lots of wounds, and you're looking to really punch above your weight class with a type of unit like this. Now, looking into the detachments here, I'll come right out and say it. The Gladius Task Force is probably it's the king right now. So, but obviously we're looking into all of these, the Black Templar specific ones, but Gladius Task Force right now is just head and shoulders above everything, and a lot of that has to do, with this can advance and charge like no matter what. Yes, that's only for 1 turn, but it's still like not a bad idea, because if you can stage really good and you can get those advantages, you can get those charges, you may even have a couple of characters where you can kind of give better roles for that, like Chaplain Grimaldus. One of the options for abilities that he can give a unit is you can add, I believe it's add 1 to the charge and 1 to the advance roll. It's something along those lines. But anyway, but he can buff both of those. So it's kind of a big deal to use for this. Sword Bros in the Godhammer detachment, which is kind of like my favorite one. It's the most fun one right now. I'm having a lot of fun trying to use it. They don't get the benefit of the +1 to hit when they jump out of a transport, which does kind of suck. But you can fit 2 5-man units plus characters in a Land Raider. That is pretty nice to have 2 very separate deadly blocks of swords that you can put on a Land Raider. Maybe you can just like run the Land Raider up in the middle somewhere, and 1 goes to the right, 1 goes to the left. Maybe one side's closer than the other, and maybe you have a command point, and there is a stratagem in the Godhammer Godhammer detachment that allows you to disembark from a Land Raider 6 inches away, so up to 6 inches. So instead of the normal 3 inches of disembark, you get 3 extra, and you can put that unit can disembark within engagement range. So that is pretty cool. You don't even have to make a charge. If it's 5 inches and you pull that out, boom, there you go. Why would you want to? Don't really know necessarily, because a 2-inch charge, but anyway. And as with most Black Templar lists, you are probably taking a Repulsor Executioner. Both units, honestly, super ideal to put in a Repulsor Executioner. But Sword Bros in this instance, if you choose Sword Bros, you're gonna be fine. Throw them in a Repulsor Executioner, gonna be golden. Wrathful Procession is really fun. Some of the stuff that's in there, like I say, big ups for either 2+ movement and 1+ charge, or there's something that you can get that gives you +1 to strength as well. So that is pretty cool, especially the +2 movement. The Execrator is going to come really handy in something like that, and Wrathful Procession, super fun to use. In fact, Wrathful Procession is what I use in my King of the Colosseum detachment, because you're just zipping. It's a small board anyway, but in an all melee focused army, you're just zipping around everywhere, and it's fantastic. Vindication Task Force is also interesting. You can stack a 5-up invul save and then a +1 on Crusade, Ancient, Fight on Death, and then as well as advance and charge with the Execrator. Might be a pretty deadly combination, something that I would have to kind of experiment a little bit more with doing, but it's definitely an interesting combination right there. And then companions, vehemence. You can stack a nice combo of, you could put like Sense in scouts on there, and then there's other things that you can do that give you +1 to advance, +1 AP. You can get reroll along with all the perks of Execrator and Crusade Agent, or a Marshal and Castellan, or even a Helbrecht and Castellan, which, by the way, Helbrecht, very underrated to put with the Sword Bros. I say underrated. It's probably the one place that if you're putting him in an army, that he's gonna go. Which I could see like a Crusade squad and everything like that too. But I've seen a lot of fun stuff with Helbrecht with the Sword Bros. There's just some certain things that they can't take too much of an advantage of. So like if we go back here and we look at Sword Bros, a lot of the things that they can stack with Vindication Task Force or Wrathful Perception or Companions of Vehement, they just don't get them here. Now, what they do get to benefit from the +1 to hit, because they're hitting on 3s, so they do get the +1, so they go from 3s to 2s, and you can put them in a Repulsor Executioner, or you could throw like 2 squads of them with different combinations into a Land Raider and dump them off somewhere, and that's going to be an extremely deadly 2 small balls of death that are just running out there. Wrathful Procession, they also get +2 movement, 1+ charge, which is fantastic. Vindication Task Force, they could really only take advantage of the -2 to be charged, so yeah, it's just not a good option. And then for Companions of Vehemence, there is some decent combinations with the Judiciaries, Fight First ability, and then an enhancement that can give you rerolled hits or +1 to armor penetration. I think the big determining factor in all of this is points, especially after the points increase that the Bladeguard vets had after the most recent updates. I just think the points flexibility, because if you're needing some points to add something extra to your Black Templars army, you could always go down from a 5-man squad to a 4-man squad, and it would still be pretty effective, especially if you're going with the Castellan and Marshal combo, or you know, you have Helbrecht and a Castellan, or whatever your forte is. You can kind of just back it down a little bit. Yes, you're losing 3 attacks. That does suck. But at the same time, there are other things that can make up for it. And they are a very hard hitting unit. So like if you're planning to have 2 squads of 5 and you just really desperately need, there's 25 points that you need to get whatever it is. Maybe you're at 200 points, you got 200 points left, and you're like, man, I really want another Repulsor Executioner to transport these guys, because Repulsor Executioners are probably the most broken thing for Black Templars right now, and they're probably going to get nerfed in the updates in December, but I really wish they wouldn't, man, because it's just so nice. So I think your priority, and my priority in making my list, is to definitely go with the Sword Bretheren. But there have been some lists where I've had a few points left over, and I have thrown in a 3-man squad of Bladeguard vets. I mean, just the odds are that having a Castellan with the Sword Bro squads means you are, with, hitting on 2s, you're going to hit the vast majority, if not all, of your attacks. So let's just say you've got the 4-man squad, that is 12 attacks, and then if you're hitting up into something that, let's say, has a toughness 9, as long as you took the accept any challenge, no matter the odd vow, then you're still going to be wounding on 4-ups, which just greatly increases your chances of doing the damage that you want to do. And each attack that lands -2 AP, 2 damage each, is absolutely going to chew through whatever it is you're swinging into. The only thing that would make me choose the Bladeguards like in the future and say yes, 100% take them over the Sword Bros, unless it's very niche, would be if Bladeguard vets could be led by Black Templar specific characters, which I understand why they're not. It's just a little odd considering that, most of the other ones can lead like intercessor squads and assault intercessor squads and even Starnguard vet squads, which the Black Templar Starnguard vets, stay away from them, they're not great. But again, I get it and I don't get it at the same time, that Black Templar characters can't lead Bladeguard vets because they can for Assault Intercessors. And the fight right now for Assault Intercessors and Crusader squads is that Assault Intercessors are winning out most of the time in competitive lists. Crusader squads are just kind of fluddy-duddying away. Crusader squads, they're like that close to like being so good, but for whatever reason they keep putting in reactive moves, like, you know, a Blood Surge, I think it's called, for the World Eaters. It's Righteous Zeal for the Black Templars, and it's okay. I wish it was something else, but that could make it a bit more competitive with Assault Intercessors, because right now Assault Intercessors are probably the meta in that one. Maybe we dig deep to it in a future video. We'll see. All right, well, what do you guys think? What do you think you should go with? Are you Team Sword Bros? Are you Team Bladeguard vets? Would you take a squad of each? Or are you just rocking with just one or the other? If you, whatever you feel like, make sure you put it down in the comment section below. But anyway, thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever a new Warhammer video drops. This is J Law from Vendetta Sports Media signing off. I will see you guys next time.